Today all are present, no? 7, 8, 9, 30. All present. Good. One of you start giving answers on the kidney function test. That is role of kidney. What we have seen in the last class. Akash.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Say about kidney function test. About role of kidney. What we have seen in the last class.
Yes, ma'am. We saw about role of kidney. The kidneys are bean shaped, ma'am. Its size is 10 to 15 centimeter each long. It is located on each side of the spine and deep in the abdomen. And its weight is 160 gram each. Together, it filters 200 liters of fluid every 24 hours.
Okay.
And we saw about the functions of kidney. It maintains overall fluid balance. It secretes active compound like erythropoietin,
Okay.
renin, and creates hormone that help to produce red blood cells.
Mm.
Promotes bone health and regulate blood pressure, ma'am.
Okay.
It filters waste materials from blood, medication, and toxic substance. And we saw about the functional unit of kidney, nephron. Uh, each includes a filter called glomerulus and tubule. The nephron work in two-step process. Glomerulus filter the blood and tubules return needed substance to the blood and remove wastes. We saw about kidney conditions, symptoms, causes, and maintenance. Kidney conditions, example, some chronic kidney failure, glomerulonucleotides, acute
Glomerulonephritis.
nephrites, acute nephritis,
Nephritis.
urinary tract infection, etc.
Glomerulonephritis. Mm.
Uh, then causes due to alcohol consumption, lithium, chemotherapy agents, etc. So about maintaining kidney health
Okay.
by getting enough exercise, drinking plenty of water, avoid extra salt, alcohol, smoking, and sleep and stress control, etc.
Okay. Okay, let's see about the next part. Laboratory tests involved in for normal functions to analyze normal functions of kidney. Okay, thank you, Akash, for your answer. Let's proceed with the next part of kidney function test now. So that is the second part of kidney function test chapter, laboratory tests. What are the clinical tests we will be analyzing for knowing about the functions of kidney? That is what called as kidney function test. So laboratory tests for normal functions. Clinical laboratory tests carried out. Test includes qualitative, semi-quantitative, and quantitative tests. Qualitative will tell what biomolecule is present. Semi-quantitative means that it will not exactly give the concentration in fractions. You may understand whether it is having high concentration or low concentration. You will get idea from that. So that is called semi-quantitative. Where quantitative method, you will be analyzing the fraction, how much it is exactly present in numericals. You will be analyzing the quantity. So that is called quantitative test. So the laboratory test will be of three kinds. Clinical laboratory test. One will be qualitative, another one is semi-quantitative, and quantitative test. Okay, for knowing about normal functions of kidney. Normal functions of kidney. So hope you know what are the normal functions. It maintains fluid balance. What are the normal functions of kidney? It maintains overall fluid balance, regulating and filtering minerals from blood. Filters waste materials, creating hormones. So fluid balance and pH balance in the body is maintained by kidney. So that is the normal function. If it is kidney failure occurs, if it is not functioning better, then definitely kidney means it will lead to some kidney disorders. So that is known by this diagnostic test. So let's see what are all the tests. The primary test is urine analysis. It may be called as urinalysis, combined word as a single word. You can say it as urinalysis, or it is representing urine analysis, and it is shortly called as UA. Abbreviation for urine analysis is UA. Urine analysis. Let's see what is urine analysis. What are the types of tests available for urinalysis? So let's see what is urinalysis. A urinalysis is simply an analysis of the urine. Urine sample is analyzed for the presence of biomolecules in it. And it is a very common test that can be performed in many healthcare settings. Always, if you go to doctor, immediately to diagnose some disease, go and take urine test. Urine normal routine test you perform and bring the test report, like that doctor will say, right? So it is a common test that can be performed in many healthcare settings, including doctors' offices, urgent care facilities, laboratories, hospitals, and even at home. So these are all the places where situations where urine sample is analyzed. So it will be the common sample test found in the clinical laboratories, okay, which is common analysis, urinalysis. Where and all it takes place, where and all we used to carry out urinalysis, healthcare settings, doctors' offices, then urgent care facilities, laboratories, hospitals, and even at home, okay. Then how the test is performed. A urine sample is needed. Your healthcare provider will tell you what type of urine sample is needed. We know already we have discussed that types of urine samples, right? What are the kinds of urine sample we have seen? We have seen in the introduction class itself, right? Role of clinical chemistry laboratory. In the previous chapter, we have discussed. Just go through that. What are the different types of urine samples? Random urine sample, 24 hours urine sample. So likewise, we have seen 4 kind of urine samples. Kindly go through that. So those samples are needed for analysis. And 2 common methods of collecting urine are 24-hour urine collection and clean catch urine specimen. That is fresh urine. It is of 20-hour urine collection is to be taken for the analysis, okay. 24-hour urine collection and clean catch urine specimen is used as the 2 common methods of collecting urine for urinalysis, okay. Only 2 methods are followed commonly among 4 urine samples. 4 kind of urine samples, only 2 kind of urine samples are followed commonly for urinalysis. One is 24-hour urine collection, second one is clean catch urine specimen. Then the sample can be either analyzed in the medical clinic or sent to a laboratory to perform the test, and it is abbreviated as UA. So this is how the test is performed with the sample. When whatever sample healthcare provider asks, accordingly will be going with the sample and test. And when what are the conditions urinalysis is performed? For routine medical evaluation, general yearly screening. What are routine medical evaluation means? General yearly screening, assessment before surgery, that is pre-operative assessment where the urinalysis is carried out, then admission to hospital, then screening for kidney disease, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, high blood pressure, that is then liver disease, etc. will be going for urinalysis, that is routine medical evaluation. Then next is monitoring disease progression and response to therapy. Even disease progression, whether it is decreased or it is in the same state, this all can be monitored by urine analysis. So that is representing monitoring disease progression and response to the therapy. So what are the conditions that will be performing that? Diabetes related kidney disease, then kidney impairment, lupus related kidney disease, blood pressure related kidney disease, kidney infections, proteinuria, and hematuria. So in all these conditions, whether it is reduced or not is monitored by the urine analysis test. Then pregnancy testing. Even at home, we can perform this pregnancy testing taking the urine sample. So these are all the conditions where we'll be performing urinalysis, or it is the need to perform urinalysis. One is routine medical evaluation, second one is monitoring disease progression and respond to the therapy that is monitored, then pregnancy testing. This all can be done with urinalysis. Then next is diagnosing medical conditions. To diagnose what are the medical conditions, in what disease it is there in the body that can be diagnosed by urine analysis. What are the conditions means urinary tract infections. For urinary tract infections, UTI, then kidney stones, uncontrolled diabetes, high blood sugars, then kidney impairment, muscle breakdown. Muscle breakdown is called as rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdomyolysis. Myo represents muscle, lysis represents breakdown. It is the name for this muscle breakdown. It is rhabdomyolysis. Then protein in urine, proteinuria, drug screening, and kidney inflammation, that is glomerulonephritis. So all kidney means abnormal functions of kidney can be diagnosed by urinalysis process. Okay, so that is represented with diagnosing medical conditions. So impairment of kidney functions can be monitored by urinalysis. Then assessing particular symptoms, even we can assess the symptoms for any kind of disease also by urinalysis. So what are the symptoms? Let's see: abdominal pain, painful urination, flank pain, then fever, blood in the urine, hematuria, or other urinary symptoms, all can be assessed by urinalysis. So these are all the 5 conditions where the urinalysis test is needed to perform for any patient. For an individual. So what are the cases it will be performed? Routine medical evaluation, for routine medical evaluation, then for monitoring disease progression and response to the therapy, then pregnancy testing, diagnosing medical conditions, assessing particular symptoms. In all these 5 cases, urinalysis is needed to perform. Let's see what are all the tests. Now you know what is urinalysis. Analysis of urine, simply urine sample. Then where all the urine sample is analysis is carried out, and what are the sectors we will be performing urine analysis. Then how this test is performed, with what kind of urine samples it is performed, and where it is performed. Then when the test is performed, what are the conditions it is applicable to perform, so to diagnose illness. Let's see what are all the tests available. Now let's move on to the kind of tests available to monitor various conditions of kidney. Okay. And some other diseases to diagnose kidney diseases, kidney related diseases and kidney diseases. First one is macroscopic and physical examination. Macroscopy means like physical examination. It may be called as macroscopic examination. Macroscopic is nothing but physical examination only, like appearance, odor, color. This all physical examination. So it is combinedly called as macroscopic and physical examination. Let's see what are all the tests available to know, to analyze urine macroscopically or physically. The parameters to be examined on physical examination of urine are volume, first one volume of urine, then color of urine, appearance of urine, odor, then specific gravity, pH. These 6 parameters are analyzed for macroscopic examination of urine. Okay, what are the parameters are examined? Volume of the urine, how much ml, what is the normal output, what is the actual output for individual patient. And then color of urine, what color it produces, what is the normal color of urine. So definitely color change will indicate the presence of some diseases, so that only it is observed. Even volume output, urine output also measured, then this will also also indicate some presence of the diseases. Then appearance of urine, then odor, specific gravity of urine, then pH also will be altered because of the disease conditions, some medical conditions. So the 6 parameters are analyzed for physical examination of urine. First, let's see about volume. This first one, let's see about volume. The volume of only 24-hour specimen of urine needs to be measured. 24-hour specimen need to be measured and reported. The volume of only the 24-hour specimen, this is one of the sample collection 24-hour specimen of urine is measured for the output volume and it is reported for volume examination. And the average 24-hour urinary output in adults is 600 to 2000 milliliters. Okay, 24-hour average urine output varies from 600 to 2000 ml. Okay, that is around 2 liters. In 24 hours, urine output will be around 2 liters. Okay, so and the same will be monitored, collecting the sample of 24-hour specimen, and it has to be compared with the average value, whether it is in normal or abnormal output. Then the volume varies according to fluid intake, diet and climate. So according to these 3 conditions, definitely urine output will be varying. You should have understood that conditions, right? Fluid intake, if you drink more water or more fluids like juices, whatever liquid items, if you take more, then output will be more. If you take some diets of more liquid items, then that will also induce the urine output. Then climatic condition, cold climate, urinary output will be high comparing with the hot climate. So these are the different parameters which will vary the urine output from normal range. But we have to see abnormal output of the urine, that is to be monitored for diagnosing some diseases. Then let's see abnormalities of the urinary volume. If the urinary volume varies from normal range, what are all the abnormalities will be observed? Let's see, first one is polyuria. Polyuria means abnormal urine output. Means urine volume will be more than 2000 milliliter per 24 hours. So it crosses the 2000 ml. Average range is what? 600 to 2000 milliliter. So in polyuria, what happens? It is more output, more than 2 liters of urine will be passed out. So that is indicating polyuria, and this is the condition will indicate the presence of diabetes. Okay, the diabetes patients will be having more urinary output. That state is called as polyuria. And this is seen in diabetes mellitus. It is osmotic diuresis. Diuresis means increased urine output. Then diabetes insipidus, all diabetic conditions, you can find the polyuria situation in the urine. So failure of secretion of antidiuretic hormone, so it will also increase as diuresis. Then chronic renal failure, loss of concentrating ability of kidneys, that is called chronic renal failure, or diuretic therapy. Due to diuretic therapy also, urinary volume will be increased more than 2 liters per 24 hours. Okay, so these are all the abnormalities and the diagnostic indications. And let's see the other indications also. Oliguria. Oliguria means urinary volume will be less than 400 ml per 24 hours. It will be less than, average is 600 to 2000, very less than, so 400, less than 400 for 20 hours, indicating oliguria. The situation is called oliguria. Our condition is called oliguria. And causes include febrile states, acute glomerulonephritis, decreased glomerular filtration. So mainly due to glomerulus dysfunction, it causes filtration, decreased glomerular filtration, so that fluid output will be reduced. And in congestive cardiac failure and or dehydration, during dehydration also the output will be decreased, that is decreased renal blood flow. Renal blood flow will be decreased during dehydration, so that only rehydration salts, oral rehydration salts will be, or as will be consumed, right, during that time. And you will be asked by doctor to take more fluids, like electrolytes and all, to meet out the dehydration. So in that case, oliguria situation is formed, that is indicating less than 400 ml per 24 hours. In 24 hours, only 400 ml urine output, urinary volume is measured, means then that condition is called oliguria. And this is due to mainly decreased glomerular filtration and other disease conditions like congestive heart failure and dehydration. This leads decreased. So there are two conditions of abnormalities of your urinary volume. One is polyuria, that represents increased output, and oliguria, that representing decreased urine output. And another one is anuria. This means urinary output less than 100 ml per 24 hours. Very low urine output is found in 24 hours, and complete cessation of urine output occurs. So that is called anuria. Am means absent. Absent of urination occurs. That means less than 100 ml urine output is found. It occurs in acute tubular necrosis. Acute tubular necrosis. Example, in shock, hemolytic transfusion reactions, then acute glomerular nephritis, and complete urinary tract obstruction. So these are all the conditions will make anuria. That means absence of urination. Urinary output will be completely stopped, or it will be less than 100 ml per 24 hours. Okay, and it occurs in acute tubular necrosis. Tubule, where it is present in the nephron. Tubules are there, no, tubules and glomerulus. So nephron function will be diminished or decreased or stopped. Thereby filtration of fluids also will be diminished. That condition only glomerular nephritis and complete urinary tract obstruction. Urinary tract obstruction means the restriction to make the fluids to filter off, and it decreases the output only. Urine formation will be decreased. So that condition is called anuria. This is third condition. So what are the three abnormalities of urinary volume? Polyuria, oliguria, anuria. Polyuria means increased output. Oliguria means decreased output. Anuria means absence of urine output. So by knowing about the volume of urine of 24-hour specimen, we could understand what kind of abnormalities are formed in the body. Next, we will see about color. How the color change of urine indicate the diseases. Normal urine color in a fresh state is pale yellow or amber color, and is due to the presence of various pigments collectively called urochrome. You should have studied about this pigments, bile pigments, right? In where we have seen this, you should have studied in protein metabolism, right? Protein or nucleic acid metabolism. You will be studying the metabolism of hemoglobin. Hope you, if you would have studied, you should be knowing what is urochrome and what are the bile pigments. I think protein metabolism or nucleic acid metabolism, you will be learning this. So you will, if you understand the mechanism, you know what is urochrome and what are the pigments present in the urine. Mainly bilirubin and biliverdin. That will be converted to urochrome. So that is called a pigment, so that your urine color is yellow or amber color. So this is normal color. It is due to the pigments. And depending on the state of hydration, urine may normally be colorless. If you drink more fluid definitely urine will be colorless. If the fluid intake is less, then you can find the yellow or amber color due to the pigments. So colorless represents overhydration and dark yellow represents dehydration. Monitors, just note down this. It is very important for you people also. If you are getting hydrated more, then that represents colorless urine passage. And if you are very much dehydrated, if you are not drinking fluids only, you will find dark yellow, and these are very abnormal conditions. Okay, so you must drink optimum fluids. Fluid intake must be there. Optimum fluid intake must be there every day. Okay, in order to make the kidney function normal. Then different colors of urine and the conditions. So let's see what are the different colors of urine you may observe in different disease conditions. If it is colorless, the urine is very dilute urine. In what cases dilute urine is formed means if overhydration, the first causes overhydration will lead dilute urine, which will be colorless. And disease conditions in which colorless occurs, colorless of urine passed means output is observed means that represents diabetes, both diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. If the urine is red color definitely due to red blood cells, blood formation in the urine. Blood is excreted in urine. So that only leads red color. So what are the conditions? It will be changed to red color means urine color will be red means hematuria, hemoglobinuria, porphyria, myoglobinuria. Okay, what are the conditions? All are there now, listening, right? Getting my voice clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
perfect. Okay. So red color indicates hematuria, hemoglobinuria, porphyria. So these are related to red blood cells and hemoglobin. The conditions are related to hemoglobin and red blood cells. Okay, hematuria, hemoglobinuria, porphyria, and myoglobinuria. So these are all the conditions you can find urine color changed to red. Then if it is dark brown or black color, this represents alkaptonuria. It will be more alkaline condition is passed to the urine. Alkalis, basic substances, that is representing alkaptonuria. Then melanoma, during melanoma conditions, oma represents cancer, right? Tumor conditions. In melanoma also to dark brown or black color. Okay, then brown color represents hemoglobinuria. Yes, brown color represents hemoglobinuria. Yellow represents concentrated urine. If you are not hydrated properly, you will see the color of yellow urine. So that is representing concentrated urine. Yellow green or green color represents biliverdin, passage of biliverdin in the urine. And then a deep yellow with yellow foam, is formed, that is due to bilirubin excretion in the urine. If orange or orange brown is due to urobilinogen or 4,4-bilinogen substances. Then milky white is represents chyluria. Then red or orange fluorescence with UV light represents porphyria. So many drugs cause change in urine color. Drug history should be obtained if there is abnormal coloration of urine. Based on the drug intake, also those who are taking drugs for chronic diseases also will get changes with the urine color. So based on the drug, what color it will be giving, based on that also we can finalize urine color and the condition of means disease conditions. So for colorless, dilute urine. It is due to dilute urine. Just a second. So we have seen colors and conditions of the urine. So different color of urine represents different disease conditions. Colorless dilute urine, red color due to excretion of blood in the urine. Then dark brown or black color represents melanoma or alkalinuria. Brown represents hemoglobinuria. Yellow concentrated urine. Yellow green or green color due to biliverdin. Then deep yellow with yellow foam is due to bilirubin. Orange brown due to urobilinogen or porphobilinogen. You will be knowing what is porphyrin and all in the metabolic processes. So you will know the terms what are urobilinogen and porphobilinogen. Then milky white represents chyluria. Then red or orange fluorescence, if we get with UV light, that represents porphyria. Then some drug also, consuming some drugs also will change the urine color. So we can finalize why the urine color is changed by observing the color. That is why observing color is an examination, physical examination under urinalysis. So what are the examinations we have seen now? Among among 6 types of physical examination, you have seen now volume and color. Okay. So volume causes polyuria. Volume output will represent about abnormalities of urinary diseases. So what are those? Polyuria, oliguria, and anuria. And color also will be indicating the different disease conditions, okay, that we have seen. Now let's move on to the appearance of urine. Appearance should be normal. Freshly voided urine is clear in appearance. Foamy urine occurs in the presence of excess protein or bilirubin. If excess protein is mainly albumin, you can find in the protein in some disease conditions. So where you can find foamy urine or bilirubin passage. Bilirubin passage also causes foamy urine output. Normal will be freshly voided urine is clear in appearance. Causes of cloudy or turbid urine is what means if the amorphous phosphates are present in the urine, appearance will be white or cloudy on standing in alkaline urine. White and cloudy on standing in alkaline urine. Diagnosis disappear on the addition of a drop of dilute acetic acid. So it will be disappeared in by adding a drop of dilute acetic acid. This indicates amorphous phosphates present in the urine. If amorphous urates present in the urine, you could find pink and cloudy in acid urine. Then it dissolves on warming. So that represents amorphous urates present in the urine. Mainly these all solid substances. So only the urine becomes cloudy or turbid. Then pus cells, varying grades of turbidity, it can be observed with microscopic analysis. Then bacteria, if it is present, uniformly cloudy. It gives uniform cloudiness. It leads uniform cloudiness to the urine. Then do not settle at the bottom following centrifugation, and it will not settle at the bottom even centrifugation process is done, and it is monitored by microscopy and nitrite test. So these are about different causes for cloudy or turbid urine appearance and how it will be appeared and how can we detect the presence of different substances that leads cloudy or turbid urine. Next we will move on to odor. About the odor of urine also will indicate many disease conditions. Let's see that. So freshly voided urine has a typical aromatic odor due to the volatile organic acids. Aromatic odor will be there due to volatile organic acids. After standing for some time, urine develops ammoniacal odor. It is due to the formation of ammonia occurs when urea is decomposed by bacteria. Okay, when decomposition of urea leads ammonia formation, and that leads ammoniacal odor, and this is done by bacteria. Then some abnormal odors with associated conditions are fruity odor represents ketoacidosis and starvation. Mousy or musty odor represents phenylketonuria. Fishy odor represents urinary tract infections with Proteus and tyrosinemia. Then ammoniacal odor represents urinary tract infection with Escherichia coli and old standing urine. It is due to the bacteria Escherichia coli, and this only makes urea to degrade to give ammonia. Then foul smell is due to UTA. Then sulfurous smell is due to cystinuria. That is amino acid metabolic disorder. So these are all the various disease conditions, abnormal conditions due to odor change of urine. Fruity that represents ketoacidosis and starvation, and during diabetes mellitus this condition will be observed. Then phenylketonuria, mousy or musty odor. Then UTI with Proteus and tyrosinemia gives a fishy odor to the urine. Then ammoniacal odor will be due to on standing for some time, then it will be conversion of urea to ammonia by means of Escherichia coli will lead ammoniacal odor. Then foul odor due to UTA, then sulfurous odor also due to amino acid metabolic disorder. Then let's see about specific gravity. It is also called relative mass density of the urine. Specific gravity that is called SG, and it depends on the number of solutes in the solution. Relative mass density. So how it represents, mass represents number of solutes in the solution. Solution here represents urine, and it says about how many number of solutes present in the urine. So it is relative mass density. It will say the density of solutes present, overall density of solutes present in the urine. It is basically a comparison of the density of urine against density of distilled water. So complete density of urine is compared with the density of distilled water at a particular temperature, mostly ambient temperature it will be analyzed. So this is specific gravity. So what is compared? Density of urine. So the specific gravity is related to relative mass density. Mass represents the number of solutes. It is based on the number of solutes in urine. Solution here represents urine. So specific gravity. All are listening, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Only Pramod is responding. Okay, Harish also. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So the specific gravity of distilled water is 1. Normal specific gravity of urine varies from 1.003 to 1.030 and depends on the state of hydration. If it is diluted urine, solids will be less. So the specific gravity also will be changed. So it is varying from 1.030 and it will be varying according to the hydration state of hydration of the urine. And the specific gravity of normal urine is mainly related to urea and sodium. What is the main cause for specific gravity of normal urine? Presence of urea and sodium. Okay. Sodium is an electrolyte, so it maintains fluid balance. That's why kidney function is to maintain fluid balance. And what product is eliminated? Urea only. Okay, urea in urine it will be excreted. Hope you should have learnt in amino acids metabolism, right? Where urea cycle, in urea cycle you should have studied how urea is formed. It is a non-toxic product. It is formed from the toxic products, carbon dioxide and two toxic products, carbon dioxide and ammonia, right? And specific gravity increases as solute concentration increases. So specific gravity here it will increase due to dehydration. So specific gravity increased condition represents dehydration of urine, and if it is reduced, then it says overhydration of urine. And it decreases when the temperature rises, since the volume expands with rising in temperature. So when we increase the temperature, definitely solutes will go for making into solution. It forms easily solution. That's what volume expands with rising in temperature. So Sg decreases. It increases as solute concentration. It is directly proportional to solute concentration and indirectly proportional to temperature. Indirectly means temperature when it is increases, it is opposite. Sg will be decreased. Temperature decreases, then Sg will be increased. Solute concentration increases, it will also increases. So that is the condition. Then specific gravity of urine is the measure of concentrating ability of kidneys, and it is determined to get information about this tubular function. It represents about a tubular function. And St, however, is affected by proteinuria and glycosuria. Definitely, specific gravity will be affected from the normal range by proteinuria, elimination of protein in urine, excretion of protein in urine, and glycosuria during diabetic conditions. Sugar formation in means excretion, sugar excretion in urea, that is called glycosuria. So in these two conditions, specific gravity definitely will be affected from normal value. Then it causes increase in Sg of causes of increase in Sg of urine are in which cases it will increase. So in glycosuria, definitely in disease conditions, specific gravity will be increased since solute concentration will be increased. So what are the causes? It will increase the Sg means diabetes mellitus, that is glycosuria, then nephrotic syndrome, proteinuria, fever and dehydration. In all these conditions, specific gravity, what it does, it increases. So dehydration leads increased specific gravity. Why means solid concentration will be increased in dehydration. So cause of decrease of Sg of urine are diabetes insipidus, where diabetes mellitus only increases, where diabetes insipidus decreases specific gravity. Between 1.0022 to 1.003, and chronic renal failure, low and fixed Sg at 1.010 due to loss of concentrating ability of tubules, and compulsive water drinking. If more means over hydration only, here represents over hydration, that will also decrease specific gravity of urine. So hope you have understood what is the specific gravity and how it is increased or decreased due to different conditions, disease conditions and different medical indications. Okay. Now let's see about what are the methods to measure the specific gravity readings. One is urinometer method. You can see the urinometer here. So this is applicable to analyze Sg. Then reagent strip method. Your strips are used based on the color. It will indicate what specific gravity of urine is. Exactly. Then refractometer method, using an instrument called refractometer, then specific gravity is analyzed. So these are the three methods to measure specific gravity. One is urinometer method, another one is reagent strip method, then third one is refractometer method. Then last parameter is reaction and pH. So how many physical examination parameters we have seen till now? There are under urine analysis for macroscopic and physical examination, we have seen 6 parameters are monitored. One is volume, color, appearance, odor and specific gravity, and the last one is pH. So we have discussed about 5 parameters. Let's move on to the 6th parameter, that is reaction and pH. So how it is altering the when pH is how we need to monitor pH and what disease condition it will indicate. This all we'll see about see under reaction and pH. Okay, so the pH is the scale for measuring acidity or alkalinity. Acid if pH is less than 7, alkaline if pH is more than 7, neutral if it is pH 7. Hope you will be knowing this point already. So in the normal pH range of urine is, it varies from 4.6 to 8. It varies from 4.6 to 8 normal pH range, and average of 6 or slightly acidic. It will be slightly acidic, that is average of 6, less than 7. Around slightly acidic, only less than 1 pH ranges vary for 6 and 7. So it will be of slightly acidic urine. So on standing, urine becomes alkaline. How it becomes alkaline? Due to ammonia formation. Because of loss of carbon dioxide and production of ammonia from urine. That's what ammoniacal odor it has been developing now. So that's what said here as alkaline. On standing, urine becomes alkaline. But the normal pH of urine, freshly voided urine, will be having 4.6 to 8 pH range and average of 6. That is slightly acidic urine. Therefore, for correct estimation of pH, fresh urine should be examined. So immediately after collecting the urine sample, we need to check for the pH change. Then how the pH is monitored? Methods for determination of reaction of urine is, first one is litmus paper test. We'll be taking a strip of litmus paper, either red litmus or blue litmus. If red turns to blue, this represents alkaline pH, where blue turns red, this represents acidic pH. So to check acidity, blue litmus we need to use. To check alkalinity of urine, we need to use red litmus. How you should have performed normal pH test for any chemicals. Similarly, it is tested for urine also. Then pH indicator paper. Indicator will be impregnated in the paper, so that is called pH indicator paper. Another test it is. So the reagent area which is impregnated with bromothymol blue and methyl red, these are indicators, so that will be added to the paper. Of the indicator paper strip, it will be already available, okay, and it is dipped in the urine sample. The color changes compared with the color guide provided, like how other color guides for reagent strip method and all you have seen, no? So color guide will be provided, what color change and what result it will give. So accordingly we can monitor or diagnose what disease it is. So this is another method, pH indicator paper method. Then here approximate pH only is obtained and it is not widely used, where litmus paper and the pH meter is widely used to check the pH of urine sample. In pH meter, you should have observed in our institution also using litmus paper and pH meter. When you are coming to college, I'll be explaining you about pH meter usage and how to prepare buffers. In the practicals, you will be using that and you will be analyzing the pH of the solutions. You will be preparing many buffers and you will be analyzing the pH of it using pH meter. So using pH meter we can find whether the urine sample is acid or base. Exactly, you can find it is very accurate method to get exact pH of urine. Okay. For even fraction change of urine also, like 6.1, 6.2 or 4.5, like that fractional change of urine also accurately monitored by pH meter. So accuracy of result will be increased with instrumental analysis, that is using pH meter. So there are another method also is the reagent strip method. Many people will use a reagent strip only in clinical laboratory to monitor the pH range. Can observe the color change and with acid to alkaline pH range. So the test area contains polyionic polymer bound to H+. That means the H+ represents proton, acidic pH cations. And on reaction with cations in urine, H+ is released, causing a change in color of the pH sensitive dye. So how reagent strip is functioning means the test area contains polyionic polymer. It will be having reagent strip will be having polyionic polymer that will be bound to protons. On reaction with cations present in urine, like sodium, potassium cations present in the urine, this H+ is released from the urine and it causes the change in color. Okay, if more H+ is present, then it is acidic urine. If less H+ is released, then it indicates alkaline urine. So that's what a reagent strip method helps to find out the pH change of urine sample. And with this, I'm completing the macroscopic and physical examination of urine. In the next class, we'll see about semi-quantitative and quantitative tests for urine samples. Okay. Hope you have understood the 6 tests carried out to know about macroscopic and physical nature of the urine. What are the 6 parameters we have seen? Can anyone say? What are the 6 parameters? As physical examination, we will analyze the urine sample in clinical laboratories.
color,
Ma'am,
volume, appearance,
Volume.
odor, specific
Okay.
gravity, pH.
Good. I have got from many people. Thank you all. Once again, go through the video for explanation and for the notes. Okay. Thank you, Pa. Understood? No? Is there any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can post in the classroom also, Google Classroom stream. You can post. Okay. Thank you. We'll leave the meeting now. Okay, thank you all. All of you, be safe. Take care.
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, pa, thank you all. And try to get a good name all the time. Okay. I advise everyone to maintain the good names everywhere, not only in the college. Personally, you just improve yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.